You may have to push a button on your screen, and all of you will be getting a copy of this recording after our class. So that way, if I go quickly through the material, you are welcome to review it on the computer later on. Okay, so when you are drawing a symmetrical object, you always want to imagine that there's some kind of a line straight down the middle. So on this wine glass, I would be imagining that right through the middle here is an imaginary line that goes all the way down. That line is called the center line. And the center line is the starting point. It helps you decide how to divide up the shape. Now, the most important thing about glasses is that it has an ellipse. There's an ellipse on the top and an ellipse on the bottom. Ellipses are always circular, so they never come to a point. So an ellipse will never look like this. It will always look like this. So keep in mind, ellipses are circles. In art school, what they often do is they have you draw a coin straight on, and then they turn it, and you draw 1/4 increments until you're drawing the coin straight across and then all the way down. And that's one of the ways that they have you practice ellipses in art school. So ellipses never come to a point. They're always circular. And then the third concept is learning to measure and cite using ratios, which I'm going to show you how to do at this moment. So if I were sketching a symmetrical object, and if you folks want to sketch along with me here, you're welcome to, but I'm going to demonstrate how to do it first. And then you'll get a chance to do it with me. We can get this paper up here. That way you can see it clear. Okay, so on drawing paper, and this is regular, just clean paper. If I wanted to fit this glass onto the drawing paper, the first thing I need to do is to cite a measurement. So I'm going to use my pencil as a measuring tool, and I'm going to measure from the rim to the base. And for our purposes, that's going to be 1 pencil length. So the whole glass is 1 pencil length. So this is the basic unit. It's also my center line. So this is that center line. Now, looking at the glass, I measure how much of the glass is bowl and how much of it is stem. And with my pencil right in front, I can see that the bowl ends right about here. If I look at that, it's about halfway. So you can see halfway is about where the bowl ends. So I'm going to make a little mark showing halfway. Next, I want to determine how wide this glass is compared to how long it is. So I know that the glass is 1 pencil length long. If I want to measure the width, I turn the pencil and I measure from the widest point. Now notice up here is thinner. So down here is the widest point of this glass. So when I measure, I'm measuring to about here on the pencil. Now notice this isn't precise. It's not a ruler. It's a measurement that's called citing. You're using your best guess. So citing, sizing. I'm putting the pencil towards the center so that the center line divides the pencil about in half, maybe a little more on this way. And here is the whitest part of the glass. So now I can start to sketch. The next thing is I imagine that there's a ball sitting in here. And where would that ball sit? What would be the roundest part? And I can see that the ball would sit right about here. The sides would come out pretty far. So I'm using this to help me sketch the parameters. The ball is really to help you gauge about where the sides would come out. So you can see the imaginary ball inside the glass right about there. And that helps me to sketch that glass. Okay, so I can see that there's a little air pocket in here. And then the sides of the stem are concave. You see how they curve in on this glass and then curve out on the bottom. So I'm going to curve it in and then curve it out. And I'm trying to keep that center line right down in the middle. Okay, and then here, see this curves up to about here, curves up to about here. Now, from the whitest part of the glass, it becomes narrower, and at the top is an ellipse. So to measure that ellipse, I look at the ellipse and I measure the width versus the length. So from my perspective, the width is about this wide. So the width is a little bit smaller than the widest part of my glass. So I come up here and I put this line, which is the mouth of the glass. This is the width of that glass. Next, I'm going to measure the length, or the other measurement, which goes across. Now, I can't measure it by making my pencil go across. Instead, I hold it up and I measure on the same plane, turning my pencil, and I can see that it's a pretty skinny ellipse. So it's only about this wide. So coming into my sketch here, I make a mark and I can see that it's about this wide. So I put these little caps on the end so that I can avoid having any sharp points on my ellipse. Remember, an ellipse is a circle. So I don't want it to come to a sharp point like that. Ellipses don't do that. So if I put caps on the ends, that helps me to round out the top part. Then it's an easy thing to sketch the sides straight down. Make a few changes. And now I have just the bottom ellipse. So I know where the center part on the bottom of the glass is. I can see that center part. Now, from my perspective, the width of that foot of the glass, and here's an interesting factoid about wine glasses, the foot of the glass will almost always fit into the top part of the glass. It's a funny thing. So the foot of the glass is actually about the same size as the top. So I'm going to put a line right through the middle here. Make that mark clearer. So here's the measurement, and I'm going to put a line straight through and then cap it on both ends. And then I'm going to measure the width across. So that's from here to here. Now, again, you can't measure this way or you're in the wrong plane. So to measure it, I'm going to measure this way. I'm holding my pencil. It's a little bit bigger than the ellipse on the top. So I'm bringing this in. This is about the middle. This is about the middle. Connecting that. Now I have all the information I need to sketch the bottom part of the glass, making sure that my ellipse never comes to a sharp point. And then here is the center part of the glass. Here's where the base connects. I think this camera might be a little, there we go. Okay, so that is roughly how you draw a symmetrical object. So again, we started with that center line. We measured the width against the length. We put an imaginary ball to show the curvature on the bottom, then sketched the stem of the glass, and then moved towards the ellipses. And the ellipses were all made using crosshairs and siding. So let's try this together. Find a wine glass, like a clear wine glass would work best. A drinking glass would work. And if you have nothing like that in your house at all, then a teacup, which would be our next subject anyway. So make sure you have some kind of a wine glass. Put another piece of paper. Okay. Now on your wine glass, put it somewhere where you can see it and use your pencil as a siding tool so that your whole length of your pencil is the same size as the glass. So you're measuring from the top lip to the bottom rim. And wherever you sit, when you hold your pencil up, you can see the entire glass. So it may need to be sitting, someplace in front of you. On your paper, make a mark. Here's the top, here's the bottom, and here's the center line right through the middle. Okay. When you have your center line in place, which would be right smack in the middle of your glass, then gauge a measurement and determine how much of the glass is the bowl part, how much of it is the stem. Do this by holding your pencil so that it fills the whole shape of the glass, and then grasp your pencil where the bowl meets the stem and hold that measurement. Put it on your sketch. So for me, it's about halfway. Put it on your sketch and then mark it. So this is about the place where the bowl meets the stem. Okay. Then we're going to line up the pencil again, rotate it, and measure how wide the glass is at the widest point. So here I'm measuring, this is the width, I'm holding it onto the pencil. And then at the widest point, I'm going to mark, here's the outside. So I know that this is about the widest point right here. Bring that in just a touch. Okay. Now I'm going to make an imaginary ball towards the center so I can see the rounded shape inside the glass. If I were to hold the glass up, you see an imaginary ball, that shows you how wide that glass is. And this helps me to get the shape so that the shape is symmetrical on either side. On my glass, there's a little dip inside the glass. Yours may have different features. And then where the stem connects, the glass is a little thicker. And then where it connects to the base, it flares out. So I'm just sketching what I see on the glass. So you can see my glass has this little concave edge and then it flares out on the bottom. So whatever base yours has, go ahead and sketch it, but not the ellipses. Okay. All right, looks like everyone has had a chance to sketch that part. Next, we're going to do the ellipse on the top of the glass. So looking at the ellipse, this is that ellipse right here. To gauge a measurement, I measure first the widest part of the ellipse. So I hold my pencil toward the opening of the wine glass. It's almost always a little less wide than the widest part of the glass. So the mouth comes here and here. And then I make a line straight across. So this is one measurement on the ellipse. And I'm looking through the glass and I measure from here to here. And to do that, I hold my pencil straight. I don't want to turn it because then I'm outside of my picture plane. So I'm measuring from the top lip of the glass to the bottom. And I can see it's a pretty narrow ellipse. So to mark that, here's the top, here's the bottom. And I'm connecting it. And I put little caps on the end, just like that. Those little caps will help me to make an ellipse that doesn't have points. An ellipse is always a circle. Okay. When you have the top mouth of the glass, then you can easily connect the sides to the widest part. Okay. Now for the bottom ellipse, remember that the base is an ellipse too. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure the width. The width of the bottom of the glass is probably going to be really close to the width of the mouth. So here's the width on my glass. And I'm going to bring that in here, make a little mark. And that's the width. Okay. Then I'm going to compare the width. Here's my width to the length, which in this case, it's a little bit wider than the ellipse up at the top. Part of that is because my eye level is closer to the bottom of the glass than the top. So here's the measurement. And then I connect. Remember, when you do the ellipse at the bottom, there are no sharp corners. It's always a circle. Okay. When you're done, use your eraser and erase out your guidelines. And then take a second and look at the values on your glass. Are there areas where the glass is darker? Go ahead and take a second and do some sketching. Show me if there's any darks. Okay, when you are finished, if you can show us your glass along with your sketch, it would be a lot more interesting because I'm sure each one of you is going to have a different and unique glass. Who's finished? When you're finished, give me a little wave and I'll put you in the spotlight. We'll take a look at your glass. Stephanie, you must be finished. Would you like to be in the spotlight?
Sure.
Oh, Stephanie, can we see your glass at the same time?
Is it there?
Yeah, we can see your sketch.
Oh, my glass?
Yes.
Glass.
Oh, isn't that perfect? So, Stephanie, when you were sketching this, did it help you to see the symmetry of that glass a little better?
Yes.
Good. And tell me something that you like about your sketch.
I still like the shading the best because it really makes it come to life.
Mm-hmm. It does. It really helps to show the form of
Right.
that glass.
I think the base needs a little more work.
Okay, fair enough. I think the shape of it too is very symmetrical.
Oh, thanks.
So you did a good job with that.
Great.
All right,
Thank
big
you.
round of applause for Stephanie.
Oh, thanks.
Yay. All right. And who else has finished? Oh, Carla, wonderful. Can you please unmute and I'll put you in the spotlight. Okay. Ooh, Carla, that looks like a red wine glass.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that is beautiful. I love how you got the rounded shape of the bowl. That worked really well. Tell me something that you think works about your sketch.
I think the proportions are pretty decent, but I think that my symmetry needs work, especially on my base.
Let's see the original glass. Huh. Okay, so I see what you mean, and I like how you got the rounded shape And that was really challenging. I think the base is probably a little bigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. So next time that could be something you change.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Let's give her a big round of applause. That's wonderfully done. That's the kind of glass you want, you know, big round bowl.
And I don't even like wine.
Good job, my friend. All right. Who else is ready?
Whoops.
Ellen. Terrific. Ellen, can you unmute? It's the little red microphone in the lower corner. And let's see your glass.
Just writing what you were saying next
Oh.
to it, so I take notes because I'm too old to remember anymore.
That's very smart of you. Can we see your glass as well? Your model? Oh, that's beautiful. That has a lot of texture to it. I was wondering because it looks like some texture on your sketch.
It's actually a plastic glass. Because
Wonderful.
I found this and I'm so excited that I did because I drop everything lately. So I found my plastic glass that I use all the time and I love it. So it does. I didn't realize how all the texture it's got inside till I showed it on the light here. But yes, it's got a straight bowl rather than a.
Yes.
But I found learning to hold the pencil straight up to measure that ellipse is like such a great idea.
Wonderful.
I never knew that before, and that's wonderful. So thank you very much.
You're most welcome. That's sighting and sight sizing.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
For our next class, we'll be learning how to do that to get a perspective sketch.
Oh, okay. But that was great. I love that. That's why I wrote it down.
Wonderful. I'm happy to hear that. Let's give Ellen a great big round of applause for her good job. Nicely done, my friend.
Thank you.
And who else is ready to be in the spotlight? Gail, make sure you unmute, please. Hi, Gail. The little microphone in the lower right-hand corner. There you go. You got it.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, here's my glass.
Wow. Oh, wow. So tell me what you think works about your sketch.
Well, I enjoyed doing the proportion according to your instructions. That was fun. The one thing I wish I could have captured, and I don't know how to do that, are the highlights, the shiny part.
Yes, that would have been easier on some other paper besides white paper.
Oh,
So it's hard to show white on white, but you know, if you toned it or worked on a gray surface, that would definitely help. Is there anything you would do different besides the shiny spot?
well, I would like to work more on the shading.
Okay.
If I had more time.
I like your shading. So pay attention on the whitest part of the glass. On your glass, it's up higher than on my glass. That's really beautiful.
Okay.
All right, let's give Gail a big round of applause. Nicely done. And who else is ready for a moment in the spotlight? Don't be shy. Marie, you look like you're ready. Can you unmute, please?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, hi.
Hi. Okay, well, here's my glass
Okay.
and here's my,
Oh, Marie, that's beautifully done. So tell me something that you like about your sketch.
I guess I feel like it's the beginning. I feel like I have a little bit of work to do on maybe the proportions, but basically I'm starting to understand. I think I need to learn more about the shading and the highlighting. I think I need to do more on that.
Okay. That's terrific. If you weren't able to get last week's recording, it's still
Yes.
available. So
I did.
Okay.
I did that because I wasn't able to make it to the last one. So I still have to learn. I think this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
yes, it's a skill. And when you're building a skill, it's difficult at first, but the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm a beginner,
Uh-huh.
but I'm enjoying it.
You
It's a
did really
challenge.
well. Yeah, you did really well. I can see
Thank
the
you.
proportion. I can see you captured the ellipses and the perspective beautifully.
Thank you.
Let's give her a round of applause. Nicely done.
Thank you.
All right. And who would like to be next? Simone, did you want to show your work? If you do, unmute and I'll put you in the spotlight. If anyone else who hasn't had a chance yet would like to go, just let me know.
Okay, I like to go.
Yay. Hi, Simone. Nice to see you.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Let's see your beautiful glass. Oh, wow. Wow, that is big on the page. You did a great job with that.
Thank you.
So, tell me something that you like about your sketch.
Well, I like that it shows the symmetry between the top and the bottom, and then the shades enhance the picture.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Is there anything you would do different?
No, I think it looks good.
Excellent. Let's give Simone a big round of applause. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Thank you for participating. And is there anyone else who would like to share their work? We have time for one more. If you'd like to show your work, just unmute. I'll put you in the spotlight.
I'll show mine, but I didn't know we were supposed to have a glass. Sorry, I missed that.
That's okay.
So I just followed along with yours.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow. Wow. You actually followed along exactly. You did exactly what I did. That is so funny. Beautiful job, Kathy. Tell me something that you think works.
Well, I like putting the marks to make the ellipse. It helps a lot, like the top and the bottom and the side. Where I had trouble was the stem. I think it's a little too thick, but
Okay.
I didn't actually measure exactly on that. I'm sorry, I had a call that I had to take, so I missed a little bit.
That's quite all right. So the concept is more important. As long as you're grasping the concept, you can repeat this at home with other objects. So you seem to have the concept well.
Okay.
Let's give Kathy a big round of applause. Good job, my friend. All right. Wonderful. So I'm going to talk real slow for the next minute and give you time to run to the kitchen and grab your favorite cup. So any kind of a teacup or a mug will work. Something that's solid that you can't see through would be most helpful. So that way we can also sketch the 5 values. So look around, find something that will work. If you don't have anything that is teacup-ish, you could use something like a travel mug or even a soda can. As long as it's a symmetrical object, that's what we're looking for. Just a simple symmetrical object. Try not to get anything that's got too much detail in it or a printed pattern on it, because then you'll be tempted to, put in a whole bunch of detail. That's a lot of work I don't want you to have to go through today. Okay. We're going to give everyone a chance to come back. All All right. So this is my favorite mug. And this is what I'm going to be sketching. I'm going to move us to the drawing board right now. When I measure, I hold the pencil in front. So the cup may be way over here and I may be measuring from back here. So just so you know, like where you're sitting at home, you'll be measuring, your pencil won't be actually touching the cup. It'll be further away from the cup and you'll be measuring like this, length and width. So looking at it from the sketchboard, if the cup is here, you know, I'll be measuring from my perspective, which is back here, and then rotating. So the first thing I'm going to do is a center line. So I'm measuring from the top to the bottom of the cup. Make sure you can see it. On my pencil, that's about here. So I take that measurement to the paper and I put a little mark. There's the top, there's the bottom. I'm going to mute everyone. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to unmute and jump in and ask whatever questions you may have. So here is the center line. Get rid of this page behind it. There we go. Okay, now that's the top of the cup, that's the bottom of the cup. The next thing is I'm going to measure the length to the width. So here's my basic unit. Here's my cup. Here's the top to the bottom. If I rotate, oops, let me get back in there. If I rotate, I can see that it's actually about the same width, including the handle. So coming into here, I'm going to put a little mark. Little mark. Now, unlike the wine glass, the widest part of this cup is actually at the top. So if I wanted to measure the widest part, I put my pencil and I measure right across. I see that it's about this wide. So coming into my sketch here, let's see. Here is the top. Here we go. So here is the big opening on the top. It's almost the same as the width. And if I measure across, I can see that the ellipse on the top is a little bit wider than the ellipse on the wine glass. So here's the measurement. Come in here, here's the top, here's the bottom. And this will help me to sketch that big opening. I'm rounding all these corners and making sure that my ellipse doesn't come to a point. Okay. Now, looking at the bottom of the cup, I see that the bottom, I don't see a whole ellipse there. I just see the bottom bottom edge. And measuring it, I can see that it's, there we go. If this was the measurement across the top right here, and I were to take it down, you can see that it's about a half of what the top is. So coming in here, I'm measuring about a half. And this is the bottom edge of the cup. And I'm curving it slightly. Okay, so now the edges of my cup are rounded. So when I sketch them, I'm sketching them rounded, getting flared towards the top. And the same on this side. Okay, now to place the handle, I can see that the handle is right about 1, 2. So the middle of the cup is right about here. I have that as the widest part. That's also the apex of the handle. So I'm going to bring this line out. And I can see that the handle starts here, ends here. Now, instead of drawing this part of the handle, I'm looking at the hole. And I'm sketching the hole because it's a little easier to sketch that hole than it is to sketch the shape of the handle. That's called a negative space shape. Betty Edwards, in her book, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, has a whole section about using negative space. We will be getting into negative space more later, but this is using negative space to sketch that hole. Once I have the shape of that hole, which you can see right there, then that will help me draw the outer part. Okay. So now that I have the big basic shape of the cup, I'm going to start with my values. And these are what I'm talking about when I say values. This is the degree of shading, darkest dark, 4, 3, 2, and 1. First, I'm going to get rid of some of these lines. We don't need these anymore. The guidelines, they've served their purpose. So I'm erasing. Okay. And now I look at the cup, and if it were sitting on a table, I look at the darkest dark. More than likely, that darkest dark, that 5 value, is going to be right where that cup sits on the table. Maybe a cast shadow. So that's my darkest dark. Then the four I can see on the inside of the cup, also on the shadowy inside of the handle here. So when I shade it, I'm going to shade starting here. It isn't solid all the way across. It gets a little bit lighter on this side. So I'm shading it as I see it. And then on the handle, you see that it gets a little shadier. And those are my fours. Okay. Now the three value is right smack in the middle. So that's the parts of the cup that are not in light and not in shadow. In this case, it's the color, overall color of this cup. It's a gray cup. So to sketch the three, I'm starting on this side. And I'm not too worried about the light parts. I'm going to leave some blank area here for the highlight and on the handle here. But I'm going to sketch everything and overall three values. So I'm making everything about this value right here. Following the shape of the cup with the pencil. Okay, so that's my three value. So sketch with your three. For the two, I'm going to lift up. So when you're using graphite or charcoal, you can lift up with your finger to create a lighter value. So here I see some reflected light on the side. That's a 2. I see some reflected light on the inside and a little bit on the bottom. So to show that, I'm just going to lightly blend with my finger, lift up a little bit of that charcoal, make it a little darker here. Okay. Now I'm going to make this a little bit darker so it stands out better. I went a little crazy with my blending. Okay. And then the one is blank paper. So the one is the shiny highlight. You can see a shiny highlight from the light here, see some shiny highlights back here and on the handle. So to create those ones, I'm taking an eraser and I'm going to use the tip of it to erase out. Okay, and when you erase out your lightest lights, that should start to give you the illusion of where the light's hitting the cup. Now remember, if you can capture even just 3 values, you capture 3-dimensionality. You capture 5 values, you capture that illusion of realism. Okay, now I'm just erasing any excess fingerprints. All right, and there you have your favorite mug in 5 values. Who would like to share their cup? Okay, who's finished? Arlene, you look finished. Would you like to share your cup? If you want to, unmute and I'll put you in the spotlight. If you don't.
All right. I'll get it over with fast. It's no big deal. Like ripping off a Band-Aid.
It's not that bad.
Here's my cup.
Oh, cute.
Okay. And
Okay.
here's my.
Oh, that looks really close. I love it. I love
What I
it.
don't like is I realized that the cup has a little more, I don't know how to phrase it, a little more, and mine is kind of a little straighter than I think it should have been. I think there's more of an angle.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a handmade cup. Yeah, and you sketched it very carefully. So I see what you mean. That's beautiful. Look instead at the symmetry. You got everything symmetrical and you got the 5 values. So next time you'll get it more precise. Each time you get better and better. Good job. Let's give Arlene a big round of applause. Nicely done. All right. Who else is finished? Okay, wonderful. Marie, I'm going to put you in the spotlight if you'd like to unmute.
Okay,
I love it.
let's see. If I can,
Mother of the Bride. That's adorable. That is adorable. Tell me what you like about your cup.
well, I think the basics are there. I'm a perfectionist. So I find this very difficult. I guess I'm just, I have to get the feel of it better. I'm a crafter and I do a lot of crafty stuff, but this is my first attempt at doing this. And I feel like I need to relax a little bit in my sketching.
Good. Okay, so tell me what you like about it.
I like that it looks like a mug.
Uh-huh. Look at the shape.
Yep, I think.
Isn't that gorgeous?
I think I have the shape down.
You nailed the shape. The handle is super impressive to me. You really got the handle on that mug. And
Yeah.
that mug looks so dimensional that you could pick it up off the page and use
Oh,
it.
that's nice. Thank you so much. That's
Yes,
encouraging.
good job. You keep up
Thanks.
that good work.
Thank you.
And let's give Marie a round of applause. Thank you for volunteering.
Okay.
Would anyone else like to share their work? Stephanie, yay. Oh, love the yellow mug. Stephanie, what did you do right?
I don't know. I guess it's all about the shading.
The first thing I notice is the reflective quality on the surface of that mug. It looks like the shiny mug that you were sketching.
Yeah.
Yep.
It depended on where it was placed and where the light hits it.
Uh-huh. You got the shape of it. You got the thickness of it. You got that crazy handle.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Let's give her a big round of applause. Nicely done. Challenging mug.
Yep.
Okay, who else? Yay, Ellen, unmute. All right, Ellen, you're in the spotlight. Let's see that mug.
I didn't do any of the writing.
Oh, good. I wouldn't want you to do that writing. It would drive you crazy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like you got the shape really well
Mm-hmm.
and you got the handle. What do you like about your sketch? What did you do right?
I don't know. I think I tried to smudge it as much as I could, and I think I smudged pretty well.
Yeah. Yes, it definitely looks smudgy.
It's smudged. It may be
Yes.
smudged over where the line is supposed to be, but it's smudged.
Oh, I think it looks very dimensional that way. You have a nice shape to it. And it definitely looks symmetrical and with 5 values.
Thank you.
Let's give Ellen a big round of applause. Okay, last call. I don't want to keep you guys too late. Gail, I'm putting you in the spotlight. Make sure you unmute. It's a little microphone in the lower left corner. There you go. Perfect. Oh my goodness, you went above and beyond. Oh, that's great. That's an awesome mug. I love it. I love it. So tell me what you like about your sketch.
Well, I liked it had so many different shapes in this one little mug.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked that it had a lot of different surfaces, the speckled surface and the dark and the light.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I needed a lot more time to work on it.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's a really good idea. I think you got the shape of it. You've got a lot of the values in place, and I can see where you're going with it. So good job. Let's give Gail a round of applause. Nicely done. Okay, one last person. Is there anyone who is just dying to show their work or would show their work if I twisted their arm a little bit? Lois, you look like you might. Would you like to show your work? And then we'll do Simone.
Okay.
All right, wonderful. I put you in the spotlight. Simone, you'll be next. Lois, tell me what's working. What do you like about it?
Well, okay, here's my mug. Okay, so.
Can you lift that mug up a little bit?
Oh,
okay, there we go.
can you
All
see
right.
it?
Yep,
So
I
don't
see
know,
it.
the shape was a little different, you know.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I have the proportion right, but I like doing the shading. I don't think I'm good at it yet, but I like to try, so.
Good. Well, that's a good start. If you've never done shading before, that's an excellent first effort. So the more you do this, the easier it'll get and the better you will get.
Yeah, it's hard for me to get the right side and the left side to coordinate, you know, when I'm drawing the outside shape.
I understand.
I have a hard time.
Well, stick with it, Lois, because
Okay.
really it's a skill and you're just creating a new neural pathway. And the more you do this skill and use it, the better you will get.
Mhm.
Okay, so we have time for one more person. Let's get Simone in the spotlight. Simone, would you like to show your work?
Okay, there,
Oh,
Oh, that's wonderful. Can we see the cup that you drew?
yeah.
Oh, Simone, that's adorable. So you sketched that teacup. That's a challenging shape.
It was because of the flowers, and it was three-dimensional.
Yes. Can we see your sketch one more time? I'm impressed. You got the flare at the top of the cup. You got the rounded nodules toward the middle. That
Yeah.
looks really impressive and challenging. Let's give Simone a big round of applause. Nicely done. All right. Wonderful job. I'm sorry I wasn't able to make it through for everyone for a second time around. Obviously, the more you do this, the better you get. So homework for those of you who would like to further this is go through your house and find symmetrical objects like this, or even pots and pans that are slightly asymmetrical, and sketch them, showing 5 values and symmetry, especially things that have ellipses. The more you do this, the more you create that neural pathway and you develop your new skill. Now, next week when we get together, we're going to further our use of the tool of sighting and sight sizing. I'm going to show you how to use this method to capture architecture and to do a perspective drawing of the room you're in, or actually a corner of the room you're in. So I'm going to demonstrate and then we'll do it together. So thank you all for joining me. Remember, if you can't make the class, you can always request the recording and follow along with the recording.
I send it out to everybody automatically, so they don't have to request it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you
You're
for that service.
Yeah.
What a terrific library. So just to remind you all that the class that you're taking, if you were to sign up through Wallkill River School or Orange County Community College, a similar class like this would cost you around $200 or more.
That's right.
So
She's right.
the library is offsetting the cost of this to provide you with high quality programming. So a great big thank you to our libraries and to Lynn. And I will see you all next time. Thank you for joining me.
Oh,
Thank you,
that was
Shawn.
great. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
Bye, everybody.